Hi everyone, Brenda here with the Indigo Doors. Welcome to week 6 of Love Yourself Bootcamp. So excited to be here. I'm so excited for this week, and when I tell you the title, those of you that know me are going to know why. So for this week, it is called I Love My Emotions. Because I love my emotions. You know that I'm incredibly passionate about talking about our feelings and the magic within them and the wisdom within them, and how this culture doesn't spend, in my opinion, enough time on cultivating healthy emotions or moving through emotions. So I am here and dedicating a full week to our emotions so that we can discover the magic and the miracles within our emotions. Okay, so you know that I spent a lot of time already in the last 5 weeks about our belief systems and practicing, healthy systems of functioning, and that is or can be incredibly intellectual. And we are not just intellectual mental beings, right? We are so much more than that. We are our emotions. So one of the things that, again, if you know me, you've heard me say many, many times, is that our emotions never lie. They don't. And the thing about emotions is that they don't need to make sense. And I feel that a lot of times we create this system within ourselves that we want to make sense of our emotions, and they don't need to. I talked before about how we can have differing parts of ourselves, that like one part that believes this and one part that believes that. Well, just imagine opening the door to your emotions and how there are so many nuances to what's going on within us. So many maybe conflicting emotions. That's so true. And what happens when we show up for those things? What happens when we create a reality, an experience that is so safe that all of our parts have a voice, and we can allow ourselves to integrate who we really are into every single moment? Because the thing about emotions is that they show us where we need to go. They show us what we need and what we want. They're so beautiful in so many ways, because remember, emotions never lie. So if something arises, then we need to show up for that. We need to spend time with it. We need to get to know it, right? And this takes practice. That's why we're here. We're here to practice. Okay, so feeling our emotions allows us to repair whatever wounds we might still have, whatever traumas we might have experienced. And that's incredibly normal. We might not even realize it till after the fact or until a feeling arises within us. So think about that for a minute. If our feelings never lie and it's really just showing us where we need to go, meaning that something within us needs to be repaired, what a gift that is. And oftentimes in our thinking, I feel like this is an area that we really judge ourselves, that we're annoyed or inconvenienced, and we say, will you just go away? And guess what? We will. That part of us will just go away. We are so much more powerful than we realize. So without showing up for our emotions, we then begin to ignore or deny a part of ourselves that then creates maybe this little thing that then grows bigger, not as punishment. It grows bigger so that we can discern it and see it and feel it. And again, that's an area we're like, why is this so big? And that's because maybe it has to do with 5 million other things. And so I want to talk about letting go of, or practice letting go of, maybe understanding why our emotions are there. Now, sometimes that's important, and I don't want to take away anyone's experience. I just feel like in some ways we can get stuck in that emotional space because we're addicted to or being obsessive about wanting to know why it's that way. Why do I feel this way? Why is this like this? When in fact, what the need is to show up for whatever it is. So let's go there for a minute. Let's say Okay, so I won't start with anger. I will go there, but not yet, because anger is a vehicle emotion. It always has something else in the car with it, which is so beautiful. Let's start with something like jealousy. Right? We show up, we have a feeling of jealousy, and I feel like, and I can do this sometimes too, I go, well, that doesn't make sense, or that isn't nice, or that isn't healthy, or that isn't wise, so I'm gonna just ignore it. And yet it's like, oh wait, hold on, let's go there. Let's slow down and allow for that feeling to arise. What is my jealousy saying to me? Right? We show up, my jealousy lets me know that I'm afraid I'm not going to receive something or have an experience that that person is having, or that I'm noticing over there. Right? And we do not ever want to invalidate ourselves. That is abusive. So whatever I'm feeling, whatever I discover in that feeling, and I'm using my imagination, right? I'm explaining something that is unseeable, that is not logical. So it's more of like a circle, or it's these nuances. So I don't need to make sense of that. And I use my imagination to imagine what is my jealousy saying to me. And it's letting me know of a fear. That there isn't enough to go around, maybe. And I say, validating, oh my gosh, that totally makes sense. That does make sense, right? I can see within this culture how, scarcity is embedded everywhere. Victimization is embedded everywhere. And without showing up for this, I don't get to discover where I might have adopted some of those belief systems and some of those feelings. So I need to repair a little bit. And that's okay. I'm going to show up and say, Brenda, that totally makes sense. And I love you so much, and there's enough to go around. I love you. Now, this is important. This is a really important element of our feelings, is we must allow ourselves to feel it, and then allow ourselves to feel the safety of me showing up for myself. So I don't just go from like, okay, I'm going to feel it. I'm going to identify what I might be telling myself with that emotion. And then I'm not going to go quick into, oh my gosh. And so no, there's plenty to go around. All is well. I am safe. Those are true things, and that will take that intellectual practice. And yet I also want to feel. I want to feel that safety. I don't want to go right to that intellectual space, because I feel that moves us off of where we're really at. So think about talking with someone, or an interaction you've had with someone, and you are explaining your experience. You're talking about how you feel. What can happen sometimes when we interact with others in that way? And I invite you to notice, because one of the things I've noticed is that some people really want to problem solve out of that feeling. They're like, okay, that's just wow, really big feelings, not sure what to do with it. Because again, this is why I love this conversation, because we don't talk about it enough. So when talking with others, they're like, okay, well, we just need to fix that. We just need to fix it. We need to problem solve out of it. Like, all right, we'll just do this instead. And that's an implication that what we're feeling is not okay. Meaning it's not okay to feel sad, or it's not okay to be mad, or it's not okay to be jealous. And my dear friends, that could not be farther from the truth and the love of you inside. So if we don't problem solve, we say, oh, thank you so much. And I've noticed in my past that I would actually even explain myself intellectually to others. I would go into, well, this happened and then this, and I'm very logical. And this is where I just want to get a little crazy, and I want to go, you know what? It's not logical. It doesn't even make any sense. I have all these feelings. I feel so unworthy, whatever it is, and I don't want to move off of it. That's what this week is all about. Please do not move off of it. Show up. Shift the relationship a little bit. So important. And so loving. Okay, I'm going to look at my notes again. Make sure that I'm covering everything. Oh, yes, because I talked about jealousy, and I want to talk about anger. Okay, so our anger rises, and I feel like some people are pretty comfortable with their anger, and I feel like others kind of feel like they're not supposed to be angry. So anger is one of those things that I feel like can come out and explode within us. And it's like, and we just start going, and I'm gonna quit, and and it's huge. Because again, we just start going, no, it's okay. Like, I'm feeling a little bit violated over here, and I am using a very big word there, but my boundaries might be being crossed over here. And so I'm just like, it's okay. It's okay. Meanwhile, it's not really okay. I'm not really feeling okay inside of myself. And again, there's no judgment. We get to show up and notice. And when we first show up and notice, we oftentimes notice it after it's already come out, right? I've said that before. Like, it just comes out of us. We realize we just blew up. We're a volcano. Everyone's on fire around us. No judgment. And so diving into that, right? And this can be a beautiful experience, and sometimes uncomfortable, because we weren't sure what to do with the discomfort in the first place, hence why it started being stuffed down. We're like, I don't even know what to do. It's okay. It's okay. So in like pulling that out, going, okay, listen, it wasn't okay. It's not okay, and that's okay. It's okay to not be okay. What is the feeling in there? You will always notice that within anger, there is some other feelings in there. Always. In the mental health world, we do call it the vehicle emotion for that very reason. There is always something in the car with it. And only you can say what that is, and spending time there. So important. Okay? So, let's talk about our beautiful homework for the week, okay? So one of the 2 activities that I'm going to invite you to do for this week is to identify how you feel. Practice not talking about what you think. This is a little bit of a doozy and probably impossible, really, and yet I'm going to invite you to practice anyway. To do this activity, you must use your imagination. So, for example, write out 10 minutes a day. How do you feel? Get to know your anger or your happiness or your sadness or your joy. What does your joy say? What does your happiness say? What does your sadness say? Show up for those 10 minutes a day. Oh my gosh, some magical things begin to happen. You will get to know yourself so much more. You really will. So writing out 10 minutes a day. I really like this activity because it is like an artistic expression of using your imagination and your intellect. So to me, it kind of gives the brain something to do. Like, okay, we're writing out, keep busy. And then your imagination can just go. So fun. Okay. And then number 2, this one I love. So when you're talking to others, so this one actually involves others, I'm going to invite you to not talk about what you think. I want you to talk about how you feel. Okay? So I feel ... when I watch the news. Don't talk about what you think about the politics going on or the recent COVID stuff. Talk about how it makes you feel. I feel this with that. Okay? And then how about I feel whatever about what's happening within you? What's happening in your life. So not explaining things in a linear, didactic way. This does take practice. It is incredibly helpful for creating healthy, loving relationships around you by using I feel statements instead of I think. So helpful. I feel like this particular activity is helpful because we don't always know how things make us feel. And that's part of this exercise, of this activity of being together and loving yourself, right? Is identifying how we feel. The feeling space within us is, in my opinion, so underestimated in this culture. And that is why I am so passionate about doing things like this and showing up for ourselves in this way. Because they are a magical key, unlocking so much in this world. Because we unlock so much within us. We are so much more powerful than we realize, and our emotions, they are a superpower. They really are. So thank you for showing up for yourself. I love you so dearly. I cannot wait to see you next time.